Okay, welcome back to the last lesson in our CakeBoss project. We're going to be looking at creating content for our website today. And just to remind you, you need to log into Hub and then click on Just Too Easy. Once that's loaded, it does sometimes take a little while to load. Look for the J2 Bloggy option. And then once you've done that, choose your website you've already started. So mine, in the case of this demo, is going to be Sprinkles. And then click on View. And then it'll start and it'll load your page. Now your page is going to be however you left it, and as you can see, I've got an introduction on here. I haven't got much more though because my navigation bar is empty, so that's something we're going to look at and we're going to build up today. A few people have asked me, how do we get rid of this categories on the side? So I'm just going to go through this before we start building up our site. Now the easiest way to do it is if we click on the customize option, and then we'll have this side menu now appear. If you click on widgets and then look for blog sidebar, you've then got an option then to remove some of these. If I click on categories as an example, I can click on remove, and then that removes it out of the sidebar there and it makes it smaller. If I want to remove the calendar as an example, if I click on that and then click remove, you can see now that's removed as well for me. Okay. Just remember, after you've done any changes here, click on the publish. That will then save it, and then you can close this window, and then it'll just revert then back to its normal self. Okay, and as you can see now, the calendar and everything is gone. We've only got these other links here. So how do we add more pages in? Well, there's two ways we can add pages in. You can either go to the new at the top, hover over it, and click on page. Or what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over this sprinkles option and I'm going to go into my dashboard. The reason for me going into the dashboard is it'll give me a little bit of a better overview. Now in my dashboard, I have an option on the side here called pages. And if I just click on pages, it'll show me any pages that I've made already. Now, if it says draft next to them, it means they've been made, but they're not been published. So what we're going to click on is this add new on the top. Now, I'm going to show you two ways where you can build your pages up. The first way is using standard page builder, which is fine. You can use that, no problem. The other one then is going to use something called Live Composer, which is a little bit more complex, but you've got far more options in there. So if I click on add new, and then we can start by writing a page name. So I'm going to put about us in here. Now, what it'll do is it'll come up with save draft. And then what I'll need to do immediately is then click on publish. Now, this basically makes the page for me. And you can see now that page is actually ready. It's live. It's ready to go. Now, it's not actually going to show anything because in our page here, it's blank. So I've quite handily got a little bit of text that I've already got ready in Word. So I'm just going to copy this in and I'm going to paste it in here. So you can see we've got standard text in here. I can format it by highlighting it and then changing it to make it a little bit bold if I wanted things to stand out. If you wanted to change the fonts themselves, you've got limited options here. If you highlight it, you've got different styles here that you can use. To be honest, I like the standard styles that come with it, so I'm not going to change anything here. You might decide you want to put a line or two in between, so I've just pressed the enter key here and I'm going to use the horizontal line separator just to put a separation line in. If you wanted to put an image in, that's what a lot of people have asked for in the past. I'm going to click on the add media button, and then you can either upload a file by dragging it and just leaving it go, or what I'm going to do with this case, I'm going to use this carrot cake and I'm going to click on it and then click on the insert into page. So at the moment, this image now has been placed in. You've got drag handles in the corners that you can make it bigger or smaller, and you've also got alignment options, so you can put it to the left, to the right, or to the center. Now what you'll find is when you use these right or left aligned, or even the center, it'll show you as if it was like in Microsoft Word, where you'll have text wrapping, so the text will actually wrap around the image itself. And I'm just going to use the same image because it's going to be a little bit easier for me. I don't know, I'll use the Sprinkles logo. So if we use the right align this time and we make that one a little bit smaller, you can see then this one also text wraps quite nicely as well. You do have a few limited options, and if you start moving it around, you can see it doesn't work terribly well because it's like using a word editor online. Now you can see I've made an absolute mess up of this. If this happens, you've got a few options. You've got an undo button here, and if you press that a few times, it'll keep on going back. Although what I'm going to do, just to make things a lot easier, I'm going to click on the image and then I'm going to click on remove, and then I can sort my text out so it's back as it once was. This is where you're going to have to be very careful when you're putting images in, and be very careful when you're moving it around. So this is a basic page for me. I'm quite happy. And if I wanted to add anything in, like a Google map, I can. So I'm thinking now for our contact us page, if you wanted to add in a map, so I'm going to put a Google map in underneath here. The way we do that is if I go to maps.google, I'm going to find the location. So in this example, I'm just going to use somewhere random. Maybe I'll go here in Petlica. And then what I'm going to do is click on the hamburger that was on the side there, and then we're going to go to share or embed map. Now you've done this before with me with serif, and then if we click on embed map, medium's fine, or if you want a smaller map, go to small. But if I copy this HTML and then go back to my website, all I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to text, and then underneath this I'm going to put this map in. Now obviously this is the code view, so if I go back to my visual, what you'll see then is it's put a live map in here, which when it's when we actually visit the page and preview the page, it'll actually be movable and so forth. Okay, now once you're happy with this, what we need to do is update the page by clicking on the update, and then that saves it, refreshes it. So any changes I've put in now, including the text or any other changes I've put in, will now be visible. If I make another change just like that now, so I've removed that line space, you have to remember to click on the update, otherwise it isn't going to save. Now if you wanted to see what this looks like, I'm just going to go back here and click on view. And what you can see there, look, is it's automatically put the About Us page in for us. And you can see it's put everything there in a nice ordered way. So that's how you build a page up. And if you want to put any HTML in, you can. What I'd expect you to try to do is think of another 2 to 3 pages to put in for your site. You could do pretty much anything. I generally don't mind whatever you want to do. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you is the alternative page builder. Right, and this is a little bit more, it's a little bit trickier to set up, but we're going to go through it all the same. So I'm going to click on add new this time. So we're going to add a brand new page, and this time we're going to do something like contact us. Now straight away I'm going to click on publish. That saves the page for me. If I just show you, I'm just going back to my other tab here. If I just refresh this page, you'll see the contact us is there. But obviously it's going to be blank at the moment. There's nothing there. So let's look now at Live Composer. So if we open in Live Composer by either clicking this button here or this button here, either one, it'll take you to the same sort of location. This is now Live Composer. And the way this works is you've got these blocks on the bottom that you can drop into modules here. Now if you just want to put some text in, you use the text module, click, drag, and then just leave it go. Now it'll put some padding in there, just basic text there for you. So if you need to change this text, click on open in WP editor. And paste it in there. Okay. Now, I'm happy with that. If I click on confirm, you can see now it's just put that text in there for me in its own little block. Now, when you've done that, what you'll need to do is you can click on the confirm, that saves it. Now, some options have different styling, right? And you can play around with these. I'm not going to go through it all. If you click on responsive, it also shows you what it looks like on a tablet and what it'll look like on a mobile phone as well, but we probably won't need that. When you want to save it with this one, you click on confirm, and then you'll notice it's got then a publish changes box here. If you click on publish changes, that then puts it live for you. Okay. Now, what else can we do with this? Well, there's a number of different things here you can play around with. They're all on the bottom. I'm not going to go through them all because we haven't got time to go through each and every single one of them. But let's say, for example, you wanted to look at adding in something like a progress bar. Now, progress bars can be quite useful. So if I click, drag, and then drop, notice now I'm dropping it just underneath this text. I could, if I wanted to, add another module in, but I'm not. So I'm just adding it in here. Now, how do we edit this progress bar? Well, if I click on this little cog here, you can see it comes up now with this functionality. It allows me to change the amount that this progress bar is going to be set to. We can also animate it. And if we need to edit then the text here, let's make it a little bit bigger. If we need to edit it, you can just click on that and then again click on confirm and then publish changes. That saves it for you. Now don't worry if this doesn't animate straight away. We're still in the page builder view. You can do other things on here, such as adding icons. So if you click on icon as an example, drag it, and then we're going to drop it in underneath. You can add an icon, and if I select this icon here, I can change the icon by clicking on the heart option. So if you need to change any of the icons, you can just click on a new icon. Like that, and then it changes it for you. Now you may think, actually, I don't want everything in one box. So if you click on add a modules row, let me confirm that first. If I click on add modules row, it'll allow me then to drag these by using the drag handles, and then I can put it into another box like so. Now what happens if you wanted some text to be by the side of here? Well, quite handily, you've got an element width, and this will allow you to change the width of these boxes. Now you'll have to play around with this a little bit, right? So you can see I've changed that now, and I'm going to add a little bit of text in here. And you can see what it's done, it's put now the text as full width. Now if we change that to something like 11/12, and then drag that up a little bit, may need to make it a little bit smaller. Go to 6/12, there we are. So it's now allowed me to put this side by side with this element here. Okay, this is where it does get a little bit fiddly. Now if you wanted to change this text or change the width of it again, just keep on clicking on these and it'll keep on expanding until it gets to the end of the box, and then it'll wrap it underneath. Now if you need to change the text, click on the open WP editor. Click confirm, and then obviously then we can save that. Click confirm on the bottom, publish changes, and then we're good to go. So the next thing we're going to look at now is creating a gallery. I've already shown you in the last video how to make a site-wide gallery, which will appear on every page. So this one now is how we create a gallery on the sort of page that you're using. You'll notice there's a tile there which says gallery, and I can drag and drop it. But it comes up and says there's no galleries, and it says go to WP admin galleries. I do not want you doing that, right? I don't want you using this gallery tool, and the reason for it is the gallery that this produces isn't that good, so we're going to use another add-on, and I'm just going to go through how you add that in now. Okay, so what you'll need to do is publish changes, finish what you're working on, and then close. And then when it reloads, I'm going to ask you to look at the top, so we're going to go into our dashboard. So if I just scroll back up, hover over the name of your site and go into dashboard. And once we're in dashboard, we're going to look then on the left hand side, we're going to look for, I think it's tools. No, it's not. It's going to be plugins, right? So we're going to scroll down in a moment and we're going to look for the plugins option. And then we're going to look for, I think it's called Robo Gallery. Now, these are all the little plugins that we can turn on. And if I can just go into there, yep, Robo Gallery. If I click on Activate, what you'll notice is on the left-hand side now, we've got a new category called Robo Gallery. And then what we can do, this gives you a brief overview, just something a little bit about it. So what we can do is we can add a new gallery in by clicking the Add Gallery option here. And what this will allow us to do is make a really nice interactive gallery. So the first thing we're going to click on there is obviously give it a name. So I'm just putting in Cake Boss Gallery. And then as you go through this, there's loads and loads of settings that you can change, right? So you've got a lot of customization with this. I'm not going to go through everything with you, but you are more than welcome to have a little play with this and see what you can actually make, right? Because there's, as you can see, there's loads of different settings that you can play around with and choose and use, right? So you can really hone this down, especially if you've got a specific color scheme. Now to add images in, we're going to click on the Manage Images button, which is on the right hand side. And once you've clicked on Manage Images, we're then going to select the images. Now, if you haven't got images on here already, you can upload them. But as I've already got some images in, I'm just going to select them all and then click on Update Gallery, which is then in the bottom right-hand corner. Now, once I've done that, my gallery is pretty much ready to go. I'm going to click on Publish. This creates the gallery for me. Now, depending on how many images you put in, this could take a few seconds to load. And then scroll down, and what we got to look for is this here. This is a short code gallery. Now, anywhere where we put this code in, your gallery is going to appear, right? So I'm going to copy this. And then what we're going to look at doing is add in a text box in to a page, and you can either use Live Composer or you can use the normal standard builder. But I'm going to go back into Live Composer here now because I've been using it before. So to add the gallery in, we're going to add in a blank text box. So I'm going to click on the text on the bottom bar, drag it in, and then put it into a position. Once I've done that, I'm going to click on Open WP Editor, and then I'm going to remove the text. Now, if your text editor says text in the top right-hand corner, switch it to visual. Make sure you then paste that gallery in, and what you'll see is it'll come up with just some text. Then when you click on Publish Changes and Confirm, it's going to maybe create your gallery for you, or may just do what it's doing here. Don't worry, whatever happens, it is actually creating your gallery in the background. So if I click on Close and wait then for it to refresh my page, what you'll see then is a lovely looking gallery. And with this, because it's all interactive, you can hover over it with your mouse, or if you click on any of the images, it'll then make them bigger, it'll enlarge them. So you can see then it's a fully featured gallery. You can go through the images, you can close them, and so forth. So that's how you'd get a gallery in. I would use and activate that extra plugin. If you're not using Live Composer, that's absolutely fine. You can still do it in the other option. I don't mind what pages you add in. Ideally, what I would do is something like an About Us page and a Contact Us page. And if you wanted to do a gallery, a price list, or anything else, you are more than welcome to just build up a few more pages now for your website. I will be putting a few criteria on the Moodle for you to show you what I'm looking for. But if you've got any problems, please let me know and I'll get back to you.